Hi, Julie Rader here with Capricorn's 2022 astrological overview. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow it. Like it if you like the video and share it with other Capricorns. So January starts off the year with a Mercury retrograde in Aquarius in your second house. Capricorn, you love the second house. It's everything to do with money and self-worth. So when Mercury goes retrograde, it's a wonderful time for reviewing everything to do with this house. So for you, I have a feeling you may get a jump start on your taxes. This would be a great time for you to go back. This is a wonderful use of Mercury retrograde in your second house. Go back, do your taxes. It's not a time to start something new, not starting a new financial endeavor. However, looking back, getting your taxes out of the way, also reviewing, are you charging what you're worth? And you don't implement it yet, but start looking at, when you're looking back at your taxes, okay, are you meeting your financial goals? And if not, what changes can you make? You're so good at this. So maybe that means increasing your prices. Maybe that means changing up your services a little bit. You are wonderful at figuring this all out, and this Mercury retrograde in January in 2022 will be a wonderful time for you to do this. Also, go through your home, and if there are things that your possessions, second house is also your possessions, if there are things that are surrounding you that don't bring you joy, or that you look at and you don't feel like they are valuable to you anymore, Mercury retrograde is a wonderful time to take inventory of your possessions as well. Go through, get rid of things that really no longer bring you joy, because maybe it will become somebody else's treasure. Then the next and the first big astrological event we have going on, a rare event, we have Jupiter, the great benefic, conjunct Neptune, the god of the underworld, in Pisces. This is happening in the third house. This is for you, Capricorn, because you are quite grounded and very practical. I highly recommend doing some kind of writing ritual, because this is happening in your third house. And if you can write down and do it in a way that feels very good to you, writing down your goals. What do you want for yourself? Blue sky it. So when I say write it in a practical way, I mean to actually just put pen to paper. However, get out of your own way. And rather than thinking, well, this is attainable, this isn't attainable, when Jupiter and Neptune come together, really, this is a law of attraction aspect. If we can allow ourselves to daydream, to dream big, to write down our greatest goal and write it in a way as though it's happening right now. So start thinking about this and think a big picture. You are so good, Capricorn, at writing out the details and the steps to get there. This is not the aspect to do it. It's the aspect to think about, okay, if I could have anything I want, what would it be? What would it look like? And then write it down. And with it being third house, it really is about writing, maybe even speaking about it. We also have April, and we also have in April, the first solar eclipse of the year. And this is basically like a new moon that is highly charged. This is happening in Taurus, fellow earth sign, in your fifth house. Fifth house is all about kind of what I was talking about. It is about getting into that childlike sense. So April, if you can allow yourself to dream like a child, really let yourself dream, let yourself be childlike, and you may reap some amazing results. Also, Taurus, in the fifth, or the solar eclipse activating your fifth house. Fifth house is about romance. So you could be attracting some romance into your life. With that Jupiter Neptune in Pisces in your third house, you might meet this person online. So if you're single and you haven't met someone, maybe get online, because this Jupiter Neptune in your third house, along with the solar eclipse and Taurus in your fifth house, could bring you a really life-changing romantic endeavor. And like I said, it's also the house of children. So being more childlike, connecting with children if you have children, or even spending time with children to help you bring out this playful nature that maybe you don't always bring out when you're being serious, Capricorn. So yeah, romance, children, and even the fifth house is also creativity and entrepreneurship. So you could get some ideas on a new business endeavor as well. Then in May, the next Mercury retrograde is in Gemini in your sixth house. This has you looking at your work, your day-to-day routines, and your health. So looking at what you're doing from a health endeavor. What are you putting into your body? How are you moving your body? And maybe looking back, maybe there's something you used to do for health routines have that you haven't been doing, that you've just kind of let go away because you've been busy. So start implementing, reflecting upon that, and maybe starting an old exercise routine or dietary routine that used to work for you. Maybe it's time to bring it back. May, we also have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio in your 11th house. So this lunar eclipse can bring endings, but it could also bring completion of a project. 11th house is maybe there were old goals that you had. Maybe with this solar eclipse that we had last in April, the prior month, or the Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces, maybe it had you realizing your goals have shifted. And then this Mercury retrograde has you looking at how you're spending your days. And then this lunar eclipse says, you know what? Those goals either have been met or no longer define who you are. So you may be allowing an old goal to die away so that you can give birth to a new goal, or a new endeavor that you want to take on. Also, it has you is shining a light on your friends or the groups of people you spend time with. That is also a theme of this eclipse in May. In May, we also have Jupiter going into Aries. This is in your fourth house. You could decide that, you know what, it's time to move or to make changes in your home and family life. And that will be the theme for the next several months as Jupiter, the great benefic, moves into the house of home and family for you. Then in July, the next huge astrological event that we have is Uranus, the great disruptor, the one that's all about breakthroughs, conjunct, so joining, having an intimate conversation with the North Node in Taurus in your fifth house. You have a lot of fifth house activation, a lot of fifth and 11th house activation for you this month or this year, Capricorn, in 2022. This is really this Uranus conjunct North Node, especially if you've been single, and with Uranus, which also rules the internet, this could bring you a relationship. It could bring you one that is sudden, out of the blue, or again, it could be from meeting somebody online. So be open to that, because you could be really pleasantly delighted and surprised by what an online platform can bring to you. Also, fifth house again, entrepreneurship. So maybe you get some breakthroughs in a business that you are wanting to start. Then in September, the next Mercury retrograde will be again in an air sign in Libra in your 10th house. This has you reviewing everything to do with your relationship or even your social status. Maybe there is an old business deal or work situation that you had in the past. Maybe it comes back around, an opportunity, or maybe you are maybe it's something that you are going back, an old work project that you used to work on. You're coming back and you're realizing that it's time to edit it, or it's time to make changes to it before you actually put it out into the world. It's time to make an old work situation better so that it can be more successful. And then in October, we have Mars, which is the great motivator, going retrograde in Gemini in your 6th house. So you again will be looking at the old themes that came to be when Mercury went retrograde in the 6th house. Well, and especially that will be activated because Mercury will be moving into Scorpio the same month. What this means is Mars and Mercury are in each other's signs, activating each other's energy, creating what is called mutual reception. So the 6th and the 11th houses will be activated, and Mercury and Mars will be activated. So Mercury is communication, Mars is motivation, 6th house is health, also work and day-to-day routines. 11th house, which is also being activated, is the goals or the aspirations that you have, the groups of people that you spend time with, your friends. These are all being activated during this Mars retrograde, Mercury moving into Scorpio, this mutual reception. So looking at your health, your work, your goals, the tribes of people you spend time with. It can even be online. It doesn't have to be physically spending time with. And then in November, we have the final lunar eclipse of the year. This is happening in your 5th house. This is happening in Taurus. And again, 5th house. So again, your 5th house is highly charged this year. Romance, fun, what you do for fun, creativity, and even children. So really looking at this house, there's another huge light that is being shown upon this area. And looking back at in April, anything that you implemented in April, maybe if you met somebody, maybe in October, the relationship then is being taken really to the next level. Looking at romance, looking at an entrepreneurial pursuit. Maybe you started something, you started planting seeds of an endeavor that you wanted, and then in October, you're reaping the benefits of that. Then, so that's in November. And then our final Mercury retrograde will be starting on December 29th. And this is in your house, Capricorn. So it's a big one for you in the 1st house, and it will be going into January as well. So this has you looking at how you step out into the world. Maybe it's time to rebrand yourself or a makeover for over your appearance, or just what area of life would you like to improve upon? Not start something new, but go back and revisit. So this Mercury retrograde is happening in Capricorn. It's sad that when it's happening in your own sign, you may not be as affected. You may not be as debilitated by the Mercury retrograde. So you can use it to its highest strengths. You can go back and just revisit. How do you want to step out into the world? How do you want others to see you? And spend some time reflecting upon that as we go into the new year of 2023. So Capricorn, exciting year for you. Perhaps romance, perhaps entrepreneurial pursuits, looking at your goals. Enjoy, and thanks for taking the time to listen.